good?
Yep.
Mate, sit down, relax. What's your favourite greeting that you've been doing since this stuff's been going down? Like you've been that or elbow?
I've just been doing this one.
Yeah.
I feel like, but like barely like touching the knuckles.
It's kind of a weird feeling.
It also depends. Like I had this one girl at the Top Shop about a couple weeks ago, Italian girl that I knew, but I haven't seen her in a long time. And she's like, Leo, how are you? And she came in for a kiss and a hug. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. It's hard because I'm a hugger too. Like I've just been like seeing mates or, you know, even just doing a quick bolt to the shop or whatever, and you're like, and you just, what do we do? Do we bloody, and you just have this moment, but mate, when it's all over, it's hugs all around, isn't it?
For sure. And the other day I was at the supermarket and this Italian guy, he looks at me and goes, no way, Leonardo, no way. How are you, man? And he's like, come here, let me give you a high five. I'm like, no, not to me. Like, I don't want to be rude, but I was like, let's do these ones.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Sweetheart. Beautiful, brother.
Cup of Joe.
What sort of Java do you like? What do you
Flat
drink?
white with oatmeal.
Nice. What do you think is the difference between our Java here compared to?
I personally like it here better than home.
Yeah.
Because home it's all about, they're so like traditional.
Yeah.
Like you ask for, like I don't really drink normal milk.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a bit heavy on myself.
Yeah.
So if you ask oat milk in Italy, they just look at you and go, what? Are you alright? Like,
Yeah. Fully. We're hanging in Byron. Obviously, mate, like pretty lucky, I guess, in comparison, you know, like obviously where you're from it's a whole different story.
Oh, yeah.
And like
it's hectic, like
yeah.
And it's been a little bit hard for me to. I'm extremely lucky to be in Australia, to be in Byron Bay, to be able to, you know, here people are taking it serious, but it's no way as like. Well, it's also the cases aren't as high, and I'm still able to surf, which has been keeping me sane. It's been incredible to do that, but it's also been a bit hard just knowing that my whole country, my whole family is stuck at home. So I don't want to like, you know, I don't want to feel like I'm rubbing into people's faces or then I'm like going surfing where I shouldn't or anything. So I'm being really cautious, basically all I've been doing.
Well, essentially you don't really have a choice, really. Like
Yeah,
from my perspective, it's like you've planned your year. You've ended up here. In a way, it's a blessing in disguise. Like we're very fortunate to have, you know, here in Australia, we've had a pretty lucky run with it. But in terms of surfing, you've been getting some pretty sick waves,
I've been so lucky to just get waves.
Yeah.
And like I said, surfing is keeping me sane. Yeah. And I know that all my friends and my family back home in Italy and especially in France, it's been firing over there, and it must be so hard because, you know, as surfers we have this passion, this crazy passion that if we can't go surf, it makes us crazy, and only us can understand that. If you're not a surfer, you don't understand that. Like, to me, if I wouldn't be able to surf for so long, and I've had it with injuries, and you have too, it's like you don't only want to surf because it's your job. You want to surf because we love doing it.
100%.
And most surfers are that way, and it hurts me seeing my friends, my family not being able to surf. So I mean, I really hope that we can get back to normal.
But you've been able to stay sharp though.
Yeah.
You know, like we had that week at Snapper.
Oh, that week at Snapper was like crazy. It definitely wasn't much social distancing.
No. And it's so funny. Every time before the event starts on the Gold Coast, it's firing.
And throughout the period of the Gold Coast was shitty. Did you realize that?
100%.
Throughout the 2 weeks, I actually hung around there for a bit. Like the best day was like a 3 to 4 foot Diba session.
The event probably would have been in pretty poor waves once again.
At Diba, which is a bummer,
Extremely, you know, small snapper. But how did you think of, you know, surfing snapper and getting it that firing? What did you think?
It was incredible. I've spent quite a bit of time on the Gold Coast, so it's like it wasn't the first time that I got to score a week of pumping waves, but it's always like, and I'm sure for you it's the same. It's it's always an incredible feeling to know that snapper's just going off and all. And it's impossible to go in when it's that good.
Mate, I was so cooked.
Oh, like, yeah, I had that that whole week.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it went straight into pumping strategy.
I was so blown away by how yourself and like a bunch of other crew, like, you know, Griffin and Crosby, Colapinto are in town. And mate, those kids were just surfing their brains out.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I felt like a weathered old man by like 2 days of it.
I know for a fact I surfed for 5 days in a row, 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
I know I surfed 8 hours a day for 5 days in a row. After that, but like you said, it's been lucky for me as well to stay sharp. Like, I've had an incredible time off. For me, it was more about a preparation coming into this year because it was a really important year for me. And I mean, if I would have had to go home and stop everything that I've been doing, it would be, you know, crazy. So I've been lucky really to keep surfing and keep that momentum going. Sure. Even if it's not competition, I'm still working with Dog, my coach. I'm sending him some footage and working on some things and it's cool. Like, I've been working on the free surfing stuff a bit more, just pushing my surfing and working on some other things that we don't usually get to work on. So, like I said, it's a moment that I think I've been trying to make the most out of it. Yes, it's a negative time in this world, but I'm really trying to keep it positive, especially being able to surf. I just did my first puzzle in like 20 years. Been reading a book, just doing all sorts of different things, and I'm sure you have too, but I mean, man, we're lucky to be able to do as much as we're doing.
The past couple years, like for you, have been pretty challenging. You fell off tour, you know, re-qualified, start of the year, and then had that shoulder injury that just stuffed you up. Essentially put you out for that whole year, and then you come back in Europe and, you know, stamped your dominance back, had those results, and it was like really impressive thing, especially for someone sort of watching on the outside.
Thanks, Mitchie.
How did you manage to motivate yourself to keep, you know, believe in yourself to, you know, that you're gonna get that chance again?
Well, I think back in 2015 when I broke my back, I learned a lot. I really learned that things can get taken away from you super easily. I mean, I didn't surf for 6 months as a 17-year-old kid, just starting my career pretty much. That was a huge shock. And I've also learned that when those things happen, and you know, because you've had some pretty bad injuries, I know, the only way you're gonna get back is if you work hard, is if you work your ass off and you believe in yourself. Yeah. And that's the only way you're gonna really come back. There's no shortcut for those things. There's no shortcut for those things. And it definitely is rewarding. I mean, in France, when I had that result, and then Haliva, it was so rewarding to see, you know, after all that tough time that I went through, coming back into my best results and straight into Manly this year, you know, winning my first 10,000. It's only yourself that can know what you've been through. You know, not many people realize what you actually go through when you go through those injuries. Definitely.
I feel like there's a lot of questions, you know, you're doubting, oh, what, you know, is this the sort of end of the potentially, am I going to come back on the same level, and the doubt.
There's always doubt. Yeah. Oh my God, there's always incredible doubt. And like I said, because I had those 6 months off last year pretty much, my time off in December, January, February wasn't really time off. I really worked hard. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, finally the year is off. Let's have a few months off. For me, it wasn't really that, because I did have that time off. So I was excited to come back into it.
100%. You could see that, obviously, the beginning of the year at Manly, like, you know, I was there, I watched the heats. And those primes are like, there's a lot of good surfers in those primes, man.
It's challenging, and that was a fun event, and it's not, I wouldn't necessarily think I surfed better than everyone, not at all. It was more I made the right choices in each heat, and some things went my way, and when you get a good result, things go your way. How
did you feel when you got told, you know, you needed to surf off for the, like, the wildcard spot?
It's a definitely tough situation to be in, because, I mean, it's just an uncertain moment. Like, last year and even this year, yes, I know I'll be on tour, but for those 3 events. And then, to be fair, WSL did tell us that we would surf guaranteed 7 events. So yes, they made this like three event surf off, which it is that like whoever finishes higher in the ranking after those 3 events will be guaranteed for sure. But the other person will be first replacement. Like Brazil was already guaranteed, G-Land was already guaranteed, so there was a good chance that we were both gonna surf every single event this year. It's a weird situation because me and Mikey were best friends when we were young.
Yeah.
Like we grew up together pretty much.
Same age, same sponsors.
Same age, he's a year older than
around.
me, but we grew up together. I spent so much time staying with him and the family from when I was 12 to 15. Like every month I would come here, and it's been cool surfing back here this week because all the locals have been like, oh, you're back here, you're back here. That does happen when you're younger. You have like a best friend, and then you kind of drift off into different ideas because we're totally different people.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're still good friends and everything. And yes, it's same sponsor. It's a tough situation to be in, but the way I took it, and it's not really me surfing against Mikey. It's me surfing against the tour because it's rare that it's going to be me up against Mikey. And the tour is so challenging, and you know how challenging the tour is, that you're not competing against one surfer, you're competing against the whole tour. And the mindset I came in this year, it wasn't up against Mikey. It was, I'm on tour, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna, I've worked my ass off to be here, and I'm gonna prove that I deserve to be here, like I have when I came back last year, and like I will, I will keep on doing that.
Totally, yeah.
And if Mikey does amazing in the first 3 events, he's top 5, top 10 in the world, good on him.
Bloody
like I won't be
100%.
jealous or anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to focus on myself. If you deserve to be there, you'll be there, whether Mikey is there or not. If I deserve to be there, I'll be there with Mikey or without Mikey. Like I don't look at him as a different person. I don't look at it as like this battle, this crazy battle.
No, it's
if it
just
does come
another
off to,
competitor in a heat.
If it does come into a surf off, which there could be a chance, that'd be pretty sick.
Oh,
like,
it'd be unreal.
Let's go 3 heats and let's give it our best.
Yeah,
it's exciting thing. I think it's also for WSL to give it a story.
Definitely, it creates a whole nother. There's so many different stories. There's obviously the world title story, which is the ultimate.
Yeah.
Then there's like a top 10. Then there's the guys battling for requalification.
For sure, but
there's Rookie of the Year. There's all these different stories.
It has been a little weird though, especially being in Australia. Like, I've had some Australians come up to me like, "You're gonna smoke, Mikey." I've had some Australians come up to me, "You reckon you got him? I reckon he's got you." Like this full thing. Like, it's not me against Mikey.
Well, you're definitely in enemy territory down here for sure. Like you got a lot of like mad Mikey.
I've been surprised
mongrels.
how many people have said you're gonna smoke Mikey in Australia. Like, it's weird.
How have the locals and stuff been treating you in the lineups here and that? Have they been accepting?
I've been very surprised how amazing and friendly the locals have been around here in Lennox Head. Really grateful for it because I totally understand why they would be a little not angry, but especially during this time, you don't want people to travel.
Everyone's supposed
from
to be
different
in their
spots.
town.
Yeah, everybody's supposed to be. I think the first day they were a little bit weirded out when they saw me, but I had a chat to a couple of guys. I told them that I rented a house here, so they understood that this would be my zone for the next month. And so everybody's been super friendly, super welcoming.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that. Like it's been really cool just to have a really good vibe in the water.
100%. Do you have any boards that like you can show me like what's been just working magic out here? Like
yeah, I have a bunch of boards that I basically got my Australian.
Can I have a look? Can I have a feel of a couple?
I'll bring them.
Yeah, bring them out. So these are the 2 magic.
These have been pretty much my go-to boards the last month. This is an epoxy.
Yep.
For when, there's been quite a couple small days as well in between the swell.
100%, yeah.
And this is I've been loving riding round tails. Just a short board, 5'11 and a half, 18 and 7/8, 2 and 5/16. I recently this year moved into riding round tails a bit more. I feel like it suits my surfing.
Yeah.
And I've been loving riding
just tighter in the pocket.
It's tighter in the pocket, but you also have more drive.
Yeah.
And
is this board this epoxy? Because this actually feels pretty unique for an epoxy. It's like
a short board.
Feels so shortboardy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you guys can really see, but the weight of it doesn't feel so.
So I'm not a big fan of epoxies. Like I never really ride them.
Me neither.
We had this chat before.
Yeah.
And so this board, you'll trip out. This board was made in 2018.
Really?
The only epoxy that Christian's ever made me that I liked.
Yeah.
Kind of always kept it in my garage or taking it to the US Open or events like that. I haven't rode it in probably a year and a half. I started riding it again in Manly. That's the
Won
comp
the
I won.
comp. Yeah, that was my next question. Was this the comp winning board?
2018.
Yeah.
And then
it's actually quite funny because you're sort of a tall guy, like not tall, but it's only 5'10", but they never look short on you.
yeah,
Which is like,
yeah, they always my boards look
Yeah.
a little long, I know, but
But
these
not-
have been my go-to
not
boards
long,
pretty
but
much.
They just, but yeah, this is sort of more my cup of tea, I think. Bit knifier.
Yeah, I've been working with Christian since I was 12, 13. We've really developed into some really cool boards, and he definitely knows what I like.
Yeah.
And last few years I've been trying some other boards. I tried a couple Sharp Eyes and everything to make sure that I'm keeping up with.
It's
what
always good
everybody's-
to give feedback to
For sure.
your shaper anyway for
But
stuff.
they've been the other boards have been going good, but I feel like this is so suited to my surfing,
Definitely.
and
yeah.
I always tend to go back to it, which totally makes sense. And
What are your plans now moving forward? Like, are you gonna like hang here for as long as this stuff goes for?
yeah.
Or do you want to get out of here or?
I definitely want to go back to Europe. I'd love to go back to Europe. So I can stay in Australia until end of May. And if I want to stay longer, I'll have to apply for a different visa because France is on lockdown until the 11th of May.
Yeah.
See what happens after that if things open up. If things open up, I'll try and make my way back to Europe. And if it doesn't, then I'll just stay a bit longer in Australia and maybe apply
Perfect.
for a different visa and and
There
love
could
spending
be,
time here.
there could definitely be worse places, and fortunately we're in a pretty good time of year for surf.
Yeah.
So once everything opens back up again, we'll just be basically on a forever surf trip for the rest of the year. I'd imagine.
Are you excited to be stuck at home, or would you rather be traveling?
Mate, I don't know. I've been really enjoying my time at home, but at the same time, I sort of miss being on the road. I don't know, it's a really unique feeling, I feel like, because we've been traveling every year since we've been since I was 17, and so for me, it's been a really strange having a routine at home, I feel like, for me. Where my friends who work 9 to 5 jobs have been in this same routine for so long, I kind of feel like that's the life I'm living. But
For sure.
But I feel like do you feel as though you get in a routine in certain destinations where you go? Do you?
For sure. You want to feel that comfortable feeling of being at home, away from home.
Definitely.
And no, it's been great over here, but yeah, I also want to ask you this, because last year was kind of your comeback QS year.
Yeah.
And you had a great year.
Well, I wouldn't say really good great.
Yeah, but you had a final, you had some good results.
Yeah, I just, mate, because,
I was with you at the start of the year and you weren't too sure. You're like,
well,
let's see what happens. But I feel like you have a lot more fire this year than because of what the results that you got last year.
I think, well, it's funny because that's why I enjoy hanging out with you, is we are pretty different people. And like I said, I've always admired your discipline and whatnot, but for me, I've never had that discipline, and I've kind of been someone who's, got caught up in the moment and loved, socializing and whatnot. But that's why I look at, people like yourself and these next generation guys who have just got this amazing, resilience and discipline, and I admire that, and that's what I tried to, pull my finger out to sort of give it a bit more of a crack. I definitely feel as though I probably could try a little harder, but at the same time, I just love surfing and competing, and I live the way I live, but at the same time, I'm just a huge fan, as well, of all sorts, free surfing, comp surfing, whatever it is. I've never been anyone to sort of, pigeonhole myself into one thing, and that's why I respect everybody's different approaches in that. But for me, I definitely love competing, and I just want to surf alongside you guys, really.
I think it's more about whoever's happy with like what you do, and you always seem like you're happy and you're having a great time. And I think it doesn't matter whether you're world champion, whether you're top 10, whether you're just a guy traveling for surf trips and everything. If you're having fun, hey, that's the most important thing.
100%.
I love what I do. I think you love what you do, and I think if we didn't, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing.
It's
for
good
sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Let's go surf. I'm wearing this long sleeve shirt, and I'm bloody cooking because I'm directly in the sun. Let's get out of here.
Oh, he touched me.